Hello and welcome here to Talking CB and welcome back to the channel here, and once again we're discussing the summer transfer window and another potential player coming into the club. It is the man from Nice, the Ivory Coast international, Michaël Seri is possibly on his way to Barcelona, or is he? And who exactly is Jean Seri? That's what we want to know today. Who exactly is this midfielder that's apparently going to be coming into the club and is going to solve all our problems? Is that the case? Can he do it? And exactly what has he accomplished this season? We're going to be looking into all that and more, so stay tuned in this video to find out exactly who he is and what he's going to bring to the club. And that is, of course, if he signs. Right now, what we're being told, reports in France, mostly in France, there's been a few reports in the Spanish newspapers that Michaël Seri wants to come to Barcelona. That is the main thing to note here. He is absolutely adamant on a move to Barcelona. When he joined Nice, it was his dream to play one day in Barca. I think that's the reason why, he went to Liga and he wanted to use it almost like a stepping stone. And that's exactly what he's done this season, because he was absolutely fantastic during the season for Nice. They finished third in Liga and behind PSG and Monaco. They were way in front of Lyon in fourth place. And they enjoyed a really good season. And one of the defining factors in that was the performances of Seri. He was outstanding in that midfield area. I think I would slightly compare him to Naby Keita, and that's not in terms of his style, but in the way that he's performed for his team this season. Keita was absolutely instrumental for Salzburg this season in their brilliant campaign in the Bundesliga, and Seri has been sensational in that midfield this season for Nice. Keita's much more dynamic than Seri. Seri is more of a sort of deep-lying midfielder. He's a controller. He loves to have the ball. He's very good in his technique. His first touch, his general play in that midfield is outstanding. And he's actually gone on to say that his idol and the player that he tries to mirror in his career is Xavi Hernández. He wears the number 6 shirt for Nice, and he seems absolutely in love with Barcelona and everything that goes with that. He seems to absolutely love the philosophy of the club. And that, for a fan looking at a player potentially joining the club, that's fantastic to see a player who is so much in love with the club, its values, its philosophy, and that is exactly what we need. That is the type of midfielder that we need to come to the club. Somebody who wants to believe in that philosophy, who wants to understand the system, and who wants to play in it. And that is exactly what we want to get from Seri. We need him to come in and be the controller in that midfield, because I think everybody, since Xavi left, after the treble-winning season, he went, off to Al Sadd. We've not replaced him. We've tried to change the system slightly. I think Enrique did an incredible job in sort of integrating Rakitic into the midfield. I think at a time when Xavi was sort of on his way out, if you like, he sort of waned him in and out of the team. And I think Enrique did a great job. But last season, we've seen a real problem down that right-hand side. There was a problem, of course, we didn't have an established right-back at any given point last season. And there was also a problem in that midfield trio. There was nobody really there who was controlling the tempo of the game. And Lionel Messi on that right side when he played there, he suffered because of that. So we need to find somebody who's going to come in, who's going to dictate the play, who's happy to receive the ball. We've got Sergio Busquets, of course, in that holding midfield position, who's happy to receive the ball from Ter Stegen, who wants to turn, he wants to pass, but he needs somebody alongside him then who he can pop the ball off to, and then they can take the game to the next stage. He's the link between midfield and attack. Busquets is the link between defence and midfield. It's as simple as that, really. You have a lot of lines, a lot of passing lanes, and we need somebody in there who's willing to receive the ball in all areas of the pitch. Seri is that man. He is certainly a player who is definitely dominating the game by midfield. You look at his stats, and most importantly, his pass completion stats. Very nearly 90% passes completed. That is very good for a midfield player who, by the way, has completed a number of passes in Liga on this season. He has made more accurate passes than any other player in the entire division. 2,542 passes he completed this season. And in terms of Nice alone, he has been the standout performer. Like I said earlier, he's had the most passes in Liga 1 for Nice. He's created the most chances, 74 chances created this season. He's had the most through balls, 32 of those, and he's contributed to 9 assists this season in Liga 1. To go with that, 34 appearances he's made in Liga 1 this season, and he's also got 7 goals. So this is a player that does like to create. does like to control, but he can also score goals. He's not just a player that's going to sit back, he's going to dictate the tempo, he's not really going to get involved in the final third. If Seri finds himself in the position to take on a shot, gets in a position to sort of take on a run, he can do so. So he is a controlling midfielder, he is a deep-lying sort of playmaker, if you like, but he can do other things as well. He's quite versatile in the way that he plays. He's 5'5", so when I say that he's number 6 for Nice, that it's Xavi Hernández is his idol, he's 5'5", everything about him does remind me of Xavi. Now, when Seri, or if Seri comes in, I don't want to hear the new Xavi, because although the comparisons are very much merited, Xavi Hernández has very, very, very high bar to follow. You know, if you're coming into the club and you've got to try and replicate what Xavi did, it's virtually impossible. Seri will come in, if he does, and he'll write his own history, I hope, in Barça folklore, but he won't be the new Xavi, because that's virtually impossible to do. But he may be something close, and that's all we need right now. We need somebody to come in and be that player, because we have been lacking a player that's been willing to control games. Because the most important thing, I think, across that entire season, and I think it's the reason possibly for our inconsistency last season, we struggled to sort of control games when we were up against it. We need to sort of be able to keep the ball when we're under pressure. If an opposition is coming onto us, if they're causing us a lot of problems, we need to be able to take that pressure off ourselves. We need to be able to sort of keep the ball 4 or 5 minutes and sort of dim that pressure. Last season we couldn't do that. When opposition were coming onto us, when we were up against it, when we were on the ropes, there was no relief. There was no sort of possession to sort of spell that danger. There was nothing there. We just kept losing the ball in key areas, and then all of a sudden, once again, we were being attacked, and we couldn't deal with it. There was moments in games where, you look at the PSG game away from home at the Parc des Princes, there was a period in that game where if we could have kept the ball 4 or 5 minutes, PSG might have run out of steam a little bit. They might have lost a bit of confidence. But because we kept giving the ball back to them within seconds of winning it back, they just kept coming onto it, It was relentless. And there was nothing that we could do to stop their goals in the end because of the constant pressure. We need somebody to come in to take that pressure off. It's somebody who's willing to receive the ball, willing to keep the ball, knows when to play the pass, knows when to play it safe as well. You talk about sideways passing and backwards passing as a negative, but sometimes you need it. You need that possession. You need that to get that confidence back in the team, to get their shape back and then go again. And that's what we need to do. And I think Seri is certainly a player that can come in and help us with that. What I would say about him is he's not Marco Verratti. And that's the player that everybody seems to want. Everybody seems to want him to come in from PSG. It's been the case now for years. There's been talk that he's the natural heir to Xavi's throne. But the problem is with Verratti is that he's at PSG. We have tried to deal with PSG in the past, with Thiago Silva, with Marquinhos. It doesn't work. It simply doesn't work. If they have a player that they want to keep, then they do not often sell. They don't often sell a player that they want to keep at their club. And that's the problem. If you want to deal with PSG, and if you want to deal with that mega rich owner that they have, you've got to pay astronomical fees. And I'm talking over 100 million at least. And that's before they even think about it. So for me, Verratti isn't quite a realistic option in this window. A player that is, and that is quite a decent alternative to Verratti is Seri, and we have a chance of getting him. And the reason for that is he wants to come. Mundo Deportivo reported that when he signed for Nice, he actually inserted a clause in his own contract. He demanded that it was put in there that he could join Barcelona if they came calling for 20 million euros or possibly even less. Now, there's been no other reports apart from Mundo Deportivo on this one, so we're not really sure if that's true right now. But it is possible because it is a dream club for him. So when he signed for Nice, he could have said, look, if Barca come for me, I want to be able to go for a cut price. Apart from that, though, it is reported that he will cost 35 to 40 million euros. So if that clause does not exist, we're going to have to pay the money. But in the current market, for a player of quality, for a player of pedigree like Seri is, it's not a bad deal. You've seen transfer fees go up and up and up. You know, you look at Ivan Perisic, you might be on his way to Man United. He's going to go for about 55 million euros is what the reported fee is. So it's ludicrous money these days. We know that. It's not our own money. So, you know what? Go and spend it. If Seri is the man, if Valverde again thinks that he can suit his system and that he thinks that he's a player that can improve our squad, I certainly think from the outside looking in that Seri would bring a lot to our team. If they think at the club that can do the job, put the money on the table to Nice and get the player. He certainly wants to come. I don't think there's going to be any problem agreeing personal terms. It's his dream club. It's his dream moment if he can join Barcelona. But will it cross the line? Leave your thoughts down below on Seri. Should we sign him? What do you think of the fee? What do you think he'll bring to Barcelona? Is he the player that we should be going for to fill that void in midfield? Let me know down below, guys. I'm always interested to hear your opinions, and thanks for all your comments on the Valverde video and the video yesterday on our other transfer target, of course, Nelson Semedo. So let me know down below, guys. I'll see you very, very soon. But until then, as always, Vesca El Barça!